Hey everybody. Let me know if you can hear me. And once you can hear me, I'll go ahead and get started. All right, awesome. Thank you, Ezra. There's a little time delay here, so I have to wait, probably 30 seconds before I can get your guys' answers. So sorry for that dead air. Today, well, if you don't know me, my name's Kristi. I am from Junk Journal Boss, and I run this business along with my son Ezra, who is there in the chat. We are a family-owned, family-run business, and we are so grateful for all of your guys' support, and you guys make it so we can do the things that we love to do. So we also have a Patreon group, and I want to go through and thank my patrons that are there. These are the Dragonfly tier. Darla White, Sammy D, Michelle, oh, I'm sorry, not Sammy D, Michelle, Holly Spink, hey Holly, Mary Reynolds, Jane Dunlap, April Harrell, Dawn, and Wendy Hicks Fulton. So thank you guys so much. On to our butterflies. We have a few of those. Ellen Davis, Marla J. Kimmel, Jenna Lynn, Debbie Rask, and Amy Lynn Mellinson. Thanks, guys. And on our wildflower tier, Lee Brown, Polly, Sasha, Rhonda Howe, MK, Linda Powell, Marie Nelson, Nikki Proctor, and Susan Einak. All right. I had a few extras in there that I needed to skip. So anyway, thank you so much for being part of the support that we get here. And if you are interested in finding out more about the tiers, they're pretty cheap, and I feel like you guys get a lot from it. Yeah. Go head over to the link that Ezra just posted. You can join free if you want to, but if you join on one of the tiers, you can be part of what we're calling Mega Make Mondays, which is a exclusive session every Monday where I teach how to make something, and I'm going more toward, in an assembly line fashion so that you can make a whole bunch of them at the same time. And also there is an extra project, and it's a full junk journal or folio project that is exclusive to you. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is what I'm working on this time. This is a folio today, and this one I call Hallow Kitties. I made it last year. I really love it, and I'm super excited to have it to be working on it today because it's one of my favorites, and I don't get to drag it out too much. So anyway, this is what we're going to be working on. I would like to ask Ezra, would you mind looking up Hallow Kitties and seeing if there's, because I didn't have it in my stuff, but are there pages or flip sides of these two things? Because I know I started making flip sides at some point, and I don't know if it was at this point, and if not, then I'm going to want to include some of that for anyone who would like to buy this or anyone who already owns it. And so, sorry about the dogs. We got dogs around here. We're an animal family, and sometimes that's just how it is. So what I've done is thank you, Ezra. I have, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I have cut these out, and now, uh-oh, guys, so sorry. Had some ants that were getting over here. All right, so I don't know about you guys, but I really think that my house, or this, you know, whatever housing tract, was built on top of an ant hill, because it's insane over here. So, okay, so what I've done is I have cut out these two things, which is the regular folio cover, so you can make it just this if you want to. We make them not where there's just a score line and a fold here, but we put two score lines here just for the sorry, I was reading that note. Just for the option of having a thicker folio. And so I'm going to score these down each side of this colored line. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I believe there is a set in there that's like 98 cents, and it has like more pages of ephemera, and it may also have the pages like these ones, or it might have the striped ones. So either way, and you can use the code September 25 to grab that. So it would just be like 75 cents to get those extra things, which is a pretty great idea, pretty great deal. September 25 coupon code is good for any of our fall or our Sapphire and Morning Glory set, because that's a September set of in our, I'm so sorry you guys, words are coming hard for me. The September set is Sapphire Morning Glory, and that is our gemstone, and sorry. Yes, thanks, Ezra. Our gemstone and birth flower set there. So I'm going to stop talking because I keep not having the words for whatever reason. I don't know, maybe it's I'm old or something like that. But I'm just going to go ahead and do one thing at a time, and that is this. I'm a fan of kitties, so this is, like I said, one of my favorites. It's really fun, and I really kind of like this sort of pattern right here. So I'm going to butt this right up to the line here. I don't necessarily want to put it over the score because that'll make it lay weird. But what I'm looking for is for it to go over like this. And so this is what I mean by the spines making it thicker, and so that you can include a lot of ephemera, and it could be like an ephemera holder, or it can be something else. It's just whatever, but at least you've got a little bit of space. So I do have some paper that I would like to possibly use on the inside, so I'm not sure if I want to use anything this dark, so I might go with something like this, or you know, I can go with something like these. I printed these out half page just so the pattern would be smaller. And so what I need here is, I'm always going to need, if I ever want to cover it this particular way, which this is really kind of the only way I like to cover it, is maybe like a 6 by 3.5. So I'm going to cut some pages or some of these in those sizes. If you want more of a lip on the outside of this, and you want, you know, to showcase some edges, hey Sandy, hey Amy, then you can make them smaller, which I might do that. I may do that. So what did I say? 3.5. How about I just make it 3 by 5.5? Let's go with that. How tall is this? Okay. So it looks like I'm going to be able to get 2 of these out of here. 3, 6, and these are, it's just about 5.5 even with these edges on it. So, you know, there's really no real size, but this is just how I've been wanting to do it lately. And I find it hard to pull that off there. All right. Okay, so now that I have 2 cut edges and 2 ripped edges, I'm going to take this out. This goes to, or comes from, a tool that I have made by Misfit Crafter. And so it has these blades in here. And so if I want to create sort of like a ripped-ish edge, I'm going to go ahead and go over this and let the blade just kind of tear it up a little. And that won't lose me all of the space that I wanted, because remember, this one was a little bit too short this way. So I don't want to lose much by ripping it again. So I'm just going to use this thing. And the tool that comes with this particular piece is called the Ultimate Book Cover Guide Tool. And I do have a link for it, but I don't have it handy right here. I know I should be having links handy, but it's fine. You know, it's not a big deal. You can just go over to Misfit Crafter Studio, find their store, and just go ahead and get that from there. Something doesn't look right. Oh, that probably is the one that I drew here. So let me find my 3. Yeah, it's more over here. And that doesn't quite look right either. That is really strange. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I see. All right, so let's just go ahead and go 3. And this one is 3 3/4. So I'm going to put this on this line here, and I'll just make sure that there are 3 inches here, and hold this down really good and do the rip. So now I've got this scrap, which is cool. So now what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to put these, you know, probably something like that. It can go this way or that way. It just depends on how you rip the papers. But either way is fine. It's just a matter of taste. But before we get started with that, I want to ink the edges because I don't really want to lay down, you know, this here like that. So I'm going to get my black. And one of these to use for my black ink pad. I am using Black Soot Distress Ink. It's a Tim Holtz, and it's by Ranger. So if you don't use these distress inks and distress oxides, I really recommend them. They're so good. And so I'm going to make it look like soot, right? And I'm just going to go around and do the edges. I'm not really going to do the middle because I just feel like it's going to be covered anyhow. So with these, you kind of have to be careful because it will make a circle sort of design. But for this, you know, it just kind of looks like billowing smoke, which I think that's an okay vibe. And for those of you guys that have not been to one of these streams before, on Wednesdays from 11 to 1 Pacific, we do a folio build, and on Fridays from 5 to 7, we have a little more fun with embellishing with just extra things that you might have in your stash. It's still pretty straight. All right, that's okay. I want to welcome Christine and say hey to Holly. And I believe I said hi to Sandy and Amy. And I am grateful that you're here. And anyone else that wants to say hey, I want to say hey to you as well. Okay, so basically this is what this is going to look like. I probably could have, and I think I will, just to see what it looks like. I might hate it, but I'm just going to try it anyhow. Okay. Oh no, I like this a lot better actually. So I used the black, and now I'm using the Distress Ink Vintage Photo, just to sort of give it a more vintagey look. For some reason, just using black kind of leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. But it really just depends on what kind of folio you're making. I like to mix like a new kind of more pristine look with a like an old vintage look, and I really like how that looks. What do you guys think? I think that looks really good. And so I'm also going to use one of these, but I have to make sure that the kitties stay upright. So I think I did 3 by 5.5. Actually, I didn't even need to do that. Goodness, let me get that. I'm going to try this instead, maybe. I really don't think this is going to work, but it's worth a try anyway. Nope. Well, I guess I learned it more sooner than later, so that's good. I'll just cut it off and then just rough it up a little with this thing again. And you can go over it more, you know, and I think that's what I'll do this time, is just kind of really get it to look, you know, that looks pretty good. All right. You guys, make sure to bookmark these videos, and please like and subscribe. We're trying to build this channel, and for some reason the watch hours on my channel keeps going down like every day, and I don't know why, because honestly I do more like live streaming and activity here now than I did before, but still. So make sure to bookmark these and come back to them. I appreciate that. Yeah, I do like the combination of black and brown. Yeah, I know, it's the algorithm, and the algorithms can change and stuff like that. So we're just really trying to get our feet here, you know, so that we can grow our business and everything. So anything that you can do, any videos that you want to watch or that you like or whatever of ours, please watch them and get some ideas. Even if you don't have the folio doesn't mean you can't watch and get ideas too. All right, so that's a little bit different sized, isn't it? It's ever so slightly smaller, or thinner, I guess you could say. Okay. A little bit longer even, but you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not having perfection with that. And I also think that maybe, should I be adventurous? I kind of don't just like just the black. Let's see if I like this better. I'll just add a little bit of the vintage in here. See what that does. Not a whole lot. See if I like that a little better. And maybe I do. I don't know. Either way, it's going to come out looking really cool. Okay. Well, it certainly does look like soot. So there's that. Let me finish these here. Oh, is that my brown one? Maybe that'll be okay. Just, no, that looks really way different. So one thing about actually doing it this way, where I'm just inking around where the page would be, or the background would be. One thing about that is that it really, by not covering up these spines, it really makes it much easier to close. I used to always add, you know, like make a whole paper go across as much as I could or whatever, you know, use single pieces of paper. And that made it really kind of hard to fold it. So you not only would have a whole bunch of bulk inside, you know, depending on how much you put in, I would also have the issue of it not wanting to close very well, and there would be like buckling on the inside and everything. So this has sort of been my go-to of how to do this. So the other day, this is funny, for Mega Make Mondays, I usually will spend a few hours, you know, quote unquote studying, you know, what we're going to do in the Mega Make and you know, meeting or whatever session. And so I ended up actually doing next week's. So I actually have some things I can show you that I made, and so next week is going to be altered paper clips or hidden paper clips. I'll probably do 3 different kinds. I like to try to do 3 different kinds of something, so that you guys, if you don't like, you know, one of the ones that I do, you know, you'll have some more to choose from. And I always choose things that are super easy to assembly line. And that often means that we don't make them all the way, but we make like a kind of a bare bones item that can be used at any time that you want to go into your stash and grab that. And it's truly revolutionized my life. I got that idea from, I mean, I know a lot of people do it, but the first time I ever saw, aside from treasure books, I saw DJ doing it over on Hither and Yon Studio, and I was like, what? That is so cool. And I wanted to try it. She calls hers Mass Make Mondays, and I think most people do. But I didn't realize that, and I didn't want to step on anyone's toes, so I just started calling it Mega Make Monday. Because you can make a mega lot of things. Okay, so we need one last bit of paper here. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one, but I'm going to go ahead and start gluing now. Oh, a little bit more of this, I think, over here, just to kind of give it that bit of extra color. Okay. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do here either, so, but right now I want to start seeing it come together. Oops. Okay. I think I'm going to... I'm not going to have to worry too much about this. This glue actually really, it dries pretty fast. So I don't want to wait too long in between. You guys, it's not enough that, you know, we get ants in our house in the summer, but we get red ants, and that's super fun because they not only get in your stuff, but they also bite you. So, and they're pretty aggressive. I'm sure we could probably call an exterminator and everything, but we have a lot of animals around here, and you know, the jury is still out on whether that would be a good or a bad thing, so we just deal with it. But it's weird to have them in my office. All right. So we're looking pretty good here. I'm liking it. And then I've got one more to do on the inside. And I could use the same paper if I want to. But I think I might want to, there was something I wanted to try with just a plain old orange piece of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this one 3 by 5.5. I think I might go ahead and tear it here too. That way I have three torn edges and only have to deal with one. Really haven't used this very much. So I'm kind of not sure of all the goodness there is to using this. but it looks like it's doing a good job for me. So I think just to sort of match this color, it's a different color, of course, but I just sort of want to, you know, just vintagize it a little bit. All right, and then let's make the edges a little. And so the way I'm using this on here as, you know, the first color is I'm kind of going over this way. I'm going to hold it in a different position for the black because I want the brown to show through. The black, but it won't if I just kind of do it like this. So I'm going to need to all right, so those of you guys that don't know me, I'm sorry, but I do talk about horror movies sometimes. And being that we just had the first day of fall, I'm starting to think that direction. And this year I was watching on YouTube a couple of videos, actually a lot of them, that were talking about like the best 60s horror movies, you know, 70s. I grew up in the 80s, so I know what those ones are. Although I don't think I ever listened or watched the obscure ones. I saw like the ones like that were, you know, Freddy Krueger and, you know, I'm sorry, Nightmare on Elm Street. That probably makes it a little bit more. Sorry, my brain, I know I say sorry a lot. Ezra told me to stop it. So I'm not sorry. But my brain kind of goes in a few different directions at the same time. And it's hard to control. But I'm working on it. I kind of like this. Oops. Don't do that. I'm going to bring in some Wild Honey Distress Oxide and see if I can sort of get it a little bit more of that color. I really don't know if I will, but I feel like whatever I do, you know, would probably be fine. It doesn't have to match totally, but you know. And then let me do a little more of this here. All right. So we're going to glue that on. So as I was saying, this ink on my hands isn't doing me any favors. So as I was saying, I started to watch those countdown sort of videos, you know, and there's so many weird movies, you guys, that I have not seen, and so I'm kind of working my way through these old movies. And so yesterday I watched one, it's called The Evil, and it's about an evil house that, you know, it has ghosts and things like that, and it's pretty silly, but but it was a fun watch, you know what I mean? And the thing I like about 60s and 60s movies, maybe even 70s too, are that they're not super, there's not a lot of blood and gore and everything, which isn't an issue for me mostly, but I kind of just get tired of that kind of thing. I like a story, and so, you know, and it's kind of hard to watch 60s movies of any kind because the acting is so terrible, and it's just, you know, the scary parts just want to kind of make you laugh because they're so weird. But you know, the stories were good, and so if I can get past all the weird ass acting, yeah, so it's really, it was a fun movie. And guess what, I don't know if you guys know who Richard Crenna is, but he doesn't strike me as a horror movie actor, but he was in this one and it was pretty funny. Okay, camp. All right, we'll say camp from now on. So anyway, I happen to think that 60s and 70s movies are probably the weirdest era of horror, you know. We're a little more straightforward now with, you know, the blood and the gore and all that stuff, but 60s and 70s movies were just fun. And so anyway, I've got 9 more on my list to watch, and I can't recall the names right now, but it's going to be fun for the 60s movies. And then I'll go through the 70s, the top 10 70s movies, as many as I can find anyways, according to this guy. I can't remember what his channel's called, but if it comes to me, I'll let you know. And if you really want to know, post in here, and then I'll take a second to try to find it, because it's probably got, I'm subscribed, it's probably got some things in my channel that I can take a look at. So if you want to, if you're not into like blood and gore and you want to watch you know, some fun Halloween movies, I would recommend 60s and 70s. But 60s, you're going to see more of like the Dracula and stuff. 50s also, Frankenstein and that kind of stuff. 70s, you're going to see more like weird, like witchy stuff. Do you agree with me, Ezra, on this? Oh, House, yeah. Yep. Yeah, we can watch House together. Oh, cool. Solid 70s weird classic. Yeah, so super fun. Probably won't stay with you when you go to sleep at night, you know. I mean, maybe if you were a kid and saw it. So I mentioned in one of my newsletters, I think it was probably this last Monday's newsletter, that I had been afraid of zombies ever since, you know, for pretty much lifelong. And the reason for that is because when I was a little kid, my parents were watching that old black and white Night of the Living Dead, which is pretty horrific for a kid to watch. And they tried to soften it, but it just didn't work. So I had that fear for a really long time, even as an adult, right, Ez? So I didn't want to see anything like that. But eventually, when I was 45, I watched it again and kind of made myself push through it because, you know, I wanted to kind of get over the fear. And So I did, but that was actually, I believe that one's a 50s movie, and that one is actually pretty gross. Yes, yeah, I agree with you. Ezra says, I think 70s horror started getting a lot more into base human fears. So it's a lot more spiritual, witches, religion, ghosts, and all that stuff. And so, you know, there's an era for you, whatever you want to watch, you know. Oops, upside down here. I think I've inked this enough. And so, one of the things that I used to do was not pay a lot of attention to this and how it matched to this. I didn't know that concept before. So I'm just going to leave it, but there's always an option, you know, just to kind of cut it right here or here, even here. But anyway, I'm just okay with it, you know. I think on our later ones we do match these better, but it's just our old school one. Yeah, so anyhow, it's fun. If you guys don't know where to find movies like that, you can go on that free channel Tubi, Tubi, and that one has so many like old shows. Even it's not all horror either. It's got lots and lots of different things to watch on there, and it's all free, and most of it's campy, and yes, the really old black and whites. I was watching this morning actually a story that for some reason I really like it, but it's really sad, and it's called Of Human Bondage. Do you guys know it? And it has nothing to do with bondage. It's an old 50s, no, I'm sorry, it's a 30s movie with Leslie Howard and Betty Davis. And it's just such a sad story. And it's like you can't help but hurt for the main character. Anyways, okay, so now that I've gone through all of this stuff, I need to rinse my hands off because I don't want to keep getting ink all over everything. So let me take a second to do that. Okay. Well, better than nothing. So, another part of putting this together is, did I really do that upside down? Okay, let's, oh my goodness, you guys. Ridiculous. Okay, it's not my stream if I don't get something upside down, all right? Unfortunately, I do have this. It's a little bit bigger, so maybe I'll go ahead and use this. Yeah, I am not a big fan of I'm not sure, Christine. No. That story, no. It's called Of Human Bondage, and it's there's a newer version of it, probably 50s, with Charlton Heston. But this one is like Betty Davis when she was super young, and it's about this guy who has a club foot, and so he's like obviously going to be self-conscious about it, but he goes to this this diner with his friend because his friend likes this girl there, right? So he goes with him, and the friend says, well, what do you think of her, you know? And she's just sort of not a very nice person. And so he said, basically, you know, she's not a very good person or whatever. She's whatever. I can't remember the word he said, but it was indicating that he did not like her at all, and which was a lie, because he went back and then he started talking to her and everything, and she's just like such a biatch, you know, toward him and everything. Notices his club foot and really just only uses him for, you know, companionship when she doesn't have anything better. And so anyways, it's just a story of all of, you know, all the time he spends with her and on her throughout, like, her life and the life choices she makes. And she always ends up coming back to him. And, you know, basically, like, you know, wanting to be in a relationship with him when there's nobody else. But then when she finds someone else, she's like, okay, bye. And so it's just so, it's hard to watch, you know, how heartbreaking it is for this guy. And I don't know why I like this movie. It sounds awful, right? None of you guys want to watch this, right? But it is really good. And it's just a story I've watched various times. And I like Bette Davis, you know, old school Bette Davis. Actually, Bette Davis just is old school, but at any rate, whatever. I do like her. Other movies that you can watch with Bette Davis, you do? Yeah, I love her. Other movies you can watch with Bette Davis, like she did some, yeah, it is. It truly is, Ezra. It's very much an exercise in misery. Very sad. Okay, so let me make sure that I'm getting it right. Everything looks right. Yes, everything's upright like that. Oops, let's not do that again. So I can just glue this right into here. And then we can just move on. But yeah, so anyway, if you want to watch any other movies for the Halloween season with Bette Davis, check out Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. That's really hard for me to say. Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. And Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Those ones are Old Boy. I know I haven't watched it yet. I'm supposed to. So, yeah, you know, that's kind of what I'm doing with my entertainment. Although I'm going to admit to you guys that I am watching a series on the Reagans, because I don't really know very much about the Reagans. And when I was a kid, I used to read a lot of stuff about the presidents and stuff. So it's been kind of a pet hobby of mine, you know, to learn about presidents, and I by no means know a lot, but it's all that I've always been kind of intrigued with, you know, with them and with their wives. So I've never really learned much about Ronald Reagan. And a lot of people don't like him. A lot of people love him. And that's all good. I don't know how I feel about him at all, but I do like this series. Oh my goodness, these ants are like really here. This series is has James Brolin and I want to say Annette Bening. And so, and James Brolin is so much of a Ronald Reagan in it. He plays him very well. So anyways, okay, so there's the inside. Now I can do some things like add in, I'm pretty sure we probably have pockets and things in the set. And I don't know why I don't have these printed, but I'll just go ahead and make some, I think. But you won't have to make them, you know. Whose movies, Smart Size? And I'm so sorry that I don't remember. You told me your name and I just don't remember. But I want to. Oh, Ronald Reagan you're talking about, I bet. Okay. I've never watched his movies. I wasn't really a fan of, I still am not really much of a fan of Westerns. So, I never did get into his movies, but I do find, I remember, okay, so in the 80s, we used to go to, you know, like our Sadie Hawkins dance or whatever. And we had this band that, you know, there's usually a few bands that like to complain about the president. So we had one over there. They were called LAX, and I don't know why. But they were just a little, oh, Margot, yes. Hello. They were just a bunch of teen kids, you know. Probably like a garage band that was trying to break out of whatever, you know. And so that's really the first time I heard anything about Ronald Reagan. And then after that, you know. Oh, you didn't? I didn't know he did any other kind of movies than Westerns. So that is new to me. All right, let's see if I can do this again. Apparently not. I find that most of the time cutting paper this way relieves me of a few steps, but not always. Let's see about how these size up. All right, so let me get this started like this, and then maybe whoops, come on. This thing's like, no, I don't want to. All right. Oh, okay, yeah. You know, I never really watched John Wayne movies either. I think it was just like when I was growing up in grade school, most of the movies I was watching were, well, whatever my mom wanted to watch, you know, and so I had the unfortunate experience of watching Damien Omen 2 and like being scared to go to sleep. That was a bad thing. But like during the 70s or whatever, they didn't really have movies made for kids the way they started to in the 80s, you know. Okay. Was it the 80s? Yeah, I think it was the 80s because we had our kids in the 80s. And by that time they had, you know, on VHS they had a lot of Disney stuff. You know, they were re-releasing their stuff, which they often do, re-release their stuff. So I think I found Ezra a, oh, that's okay. That's all right. You can come back and watch this. That'll help us with our watch hours. We're trying to get our watch hours up about 2,000 more, but the goalpost, not the goalpost, but the starting point keeps changing, and so it's a little bit of a bummer, but it's okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and, that was brown, right? So when you get this kit, you are not going to have to do this. I just didn't want to take the time away from you guys to have to go and find the file, then print it, etc. So I figured I would just show you kind of how my brain works. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to me, I'm not necessarily satisfied with just building the folio, you know. I really like to do more embellishing, and it seems like if I don't take the time, like on purpose, then it's not going to come out, you know, the way I'd like it to be. So we have these 2-hour sessions now, and so I can kind of take my time doing things, making things, and you guys might get some ideas out of the way I solve problems or whatever, you know. And it should take you a little bit of time, you know. You don't have to throw it all together, you know. It's really just, you know, up to you. With some people might just like to use paper. I like to use like different textures and things too. And so that's what I do generally on Friday. And most of the time it's ribbon and stuff like that, but I am really looking forward to starting to do something a little bit different. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to like horror movies to be part of the club here. I just do, and you know, I grew up with you know, on Vincent Price and those kind of movies, the Elvira type, you know, type movies and stuff. And so I'm going to say, like, you know, from, you know, probably 6 years old to 10, maybe 6 years. Yeah, 6 years old to 10. I don't know, maybe longer. You know, my brother and I used to sit and watch movies together when we were kids. And usually it was something like that. Vincent Price or something. So but yeah, I'm not as interested in you know, modern day horror movies at all, you know. my daughter is like, oh, have you watched Saw? I watched all of them. And I'm like, no, there's a dirty bathroom and I just can't seem to hang in there, because that bathroom that they're chained into is like, you know, it's dirty. So anyway, I think what it is that it's that it's a dreary and depressing sort of look, similar to like things like what is that one? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's just truly just despair, you know. And for some reason I don't know. I mean, none of them really have a happy ending, right? You know, but at least it's, you know, the end of Nightmare on Elm Street is really campy and funny. You know, there was an element of comedy in that, in horror too, at some point too. So, oh, nice. This would be a really cute book for her. I think I'm actually gonna just glue this just like this and just let it be, you know, kind of a tab, kind of a knot. But let me see. Put the glue on this. Rather, because I think it'll be easier than putting it on the back, figuring out where to put it on the back of this thing. So oh, does it? I mean, yeah, I think I just never really hung in long enough to see that, you know. And by now they're like, I don't know. They're probably, what's going to happen is I'm going to be like 75 years old watching the Saw movies, because they're vintage now, you know. They might be vintage now according to Etsy, at least. So I kind of love the way this looks, you know. So let's think about what we can put in there, or what we can put on this one. Ezra, there's a Fortnite game that is based on the Saw movies, which is really fun. Yeah. And basically what you're doing is you're collecting puzzle pieces, and you know, it has like the Saw characters and monsters and things in it. It's pretty fun. Allie and I used to watch, we would start like whatever our movie was, not always horror, but just, you know, whatever our movie was, we would start it at the same time, you know, and then we would sort of, you know, try to keep it synced so that we were on the same parts at the same time. I don't know if there's a way to do that differently now, but that's a kind of a fun idea. The code for what? You know me, I don't remember what I said 3 seconds ago, so. A really cool thing is happening that my brother's gonna do for us. Yeah. He has a big giant digital, oh yeah, the Fortnite thing. Yes. I will, and I'll play it with you if you want. It's fun. But Otherwise, I can't remember what it's called, but I'll let you know what it's called, and I'll see if I can grab the number for you. I know I thought we could, but I don't know. I don't know if we can do that on Tubi, and that's where a lot of the movies that we want to watch are. But it seemed like it went away. The watch party option went away on Amazon, but I don't know if there's another way to do that. How do you do it, Holly? All right. La la la. Very nice. And I want to welcome anybody who is here that isn't really necessarily talking in the chat. I'm grateful that you're here. And my name's Kristi, and my business is Junk Journal Boss, which I run with Ezra, who is there in... Oh, you haven't tried it? Okay. Who's there in the chat. We're a family-run, family-owned business that, you know, is pretty new. It's new, but not really new. I don't know. To me, it feels like I've been doing this forever. But for a business, it's new. And we make digital products such as these that I'm using right now in here, and do live streams every Wednesday and Friday, and also have a Patreon, a low-cost Patreon membership that gets, you know, an extra live stream and an extra project every month. So, well, the extra live streams, actually there's 4 of those every month. So anyway, if you're into that, you can go check that out on Patreon. You can like and subscribe here, and you'll get notifications whenever I go live. And yeah. Yeah, I was actually going to like cut them, you know, some way, and I thought, you know, let me just leave it. It looks interesting this way, I think. Hi, Bella. Hi, Bella Boo. My dog is here with me. I think she's just looking for something, anything she could find on the floor that seems interesting, or any smells that she can smell. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am sweaty, so... And that's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah. Doing something a little bit different, which I have been the last few times. I like to try to make the project different every time, and really different from anything that we sell. Sometimes that happens, sometimes that doesn't, but yeah. October will be fun. Oh my gosh. I was preparing for November. That is so funny. Why am I preparing so much in advance? Yeah, I am. Hi, Mila. Welcome, welcome. We are building this little folio kit. It's called Hallow Kitties. And it is my favorite one. And we're going to be working on that this week. Okay, so, like I said, we're not really going to do anything with this stuff here. But what I want to do is at least cut them out and put them in any pockets, so that when I come around to it on Friday, to embellish it, you know, and use ribbons and other stuff that I like, charms, beads, anything like that. I want to be able to just find all the pieces. So right now I'm just going to make a, because I don't have, for some reason I didn't print out the whole set, and it's very much like this. It's just pockets and other things like that. If you've gotten my kits before, or our kits before, you know what's in it. You know, they're pretty much all about the same design, but different topics, which is probably going to change next year. We probably will do a lot fewer of this particular design, and then just start, you know, start using different designs for the ones we sell. They're for download, and you guys print them. And then there's usually a video or two even on my channel that go over how I built them. Last year, I do think I have Hallow Kitties videos up, but I feel like my junk journaling kind of progresses, you know, and I get better and better and feel more comfortable, have more ideas, and all that stuff. So you can get this, Margot, and use the September 25, all caps, no spaces, to get 25% off of this. And I usually print my stuff on a color laser printer. Hi, Jaretta, welcome. Happy to see you. But if you have an inkjet, that's probably even better. But my inkjet is being a butt right now. So I do have another one that I need to set up, but I just have not done that yet. So there's all my excuses. I met Jaretta over at DJ's live stream. She does them on Friday, and it's a party over there, you guys. It is a party over there. And so I encourage you guys, if on Friday, I don't really know what the time is. Jaretta, do you know what the time is that she does her stream? Okay, so I can show you guys exactly what kind of paper I use. For just the, like this kind of paper, you know, just regular, I use 32 pound. Yeah, I have liked, Jaretta, the tank printers. They're pretty cool. And Christine, so I got 32 weight paper, and as far as the cardstock goes, I use this matte photo paper. Okay, thanks. This is 45 pounds or 170 GSM. And this is like $5. This is the reason why I use this. It is only one-sided, but I often will print double-sided and it comes out just fine. It's just a little bit different shade. It's more like an off-white versus like a bright white. But this is like $5 on, or $6 for 50 sheets, where if I buy 50 sheets of something else, you know, it's going to cost me more. And I found that matte photo paper it's more vibrant, and so is actually the inkjet print. I mean, the laser printer. So, you know, there's that. Okay, so you guys check out DJ Hither and Yon Studio at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on Friday. And maybe I might see you over there, because I really like going to her streams. Very friendly people and fun. I'm pretty sure EcoTink printers, you know, you can probably just get one for $150. If you want to get fancy, you can pay more, but honestly, you know, it's really worth it. And then a lot of companies sell, like off-brand companies sell the refills for the tank, and that's nice too. Aw. DJ came to my Friday stream last time, and Jaretta and Carrie, a couple other people. I just met them. Very friendly people. And get a lot of really great ideas from DJ. Yeah. Yeah, so wherever you can get the stuff cheapest, 32-pound paper does tend to be more expensive, maybe 18 bucks for a ream. But if you're just using it, you know, I try to just use it for my journals when I print those. So it lasts quite a while for me, but if I get lazy and I'm like, I don't want to, you know, change the paper, sometimes I'll print stuff out on that. And every time I kick myself, because I'm like, ugh, this paper is like way more expensive than just regular copy paper. But even with regular copy paper, I don't like to use that the 20-pound if I'm printing out papers or something like that, you know. I at least want to use 24-pound, and that is also more expensive. But it's not see-through and, you know, and everything the way that regular copy paper is. And there's a place for copy paper as well. So there's that. All right, so I was going to make this a tuck. And just kind of let it be like this. And so, again, anybody who just got here, I'm actually making my pockets and tucks, but there are pieces in the Hallow Kitty set that is that, you know, are pockets and such, you know. I just didn't print them out, so I figured I'm using, you know, stuff from the Hallow Kitty set, and I'm also using things from the extra set. Ezra, do you see that one? The extra set that has all the different, you know, stuff. It's 98 cents in the shop. I just released it the other day. And I did that because I just didn't have time to put together the collection. And I figured, you know, I don't want to wait another year, you know, to release these again. But a lot of these are from that. Like a lot of these extra, you know, different tags and things are in that set. So you might want to go ahead and pick that one up too. It's only 98 cents. It really is worth a lot more, but what you gonna do? I only have time enough for a certain amount of things. And so I just left it. Oh, I'm going to cut the kitties' heads off if I... Oh, never mind. I don't care. We're going to leave it alone. So anyway, so there's the folio kit, and then there's all the ephemera kit. Does that have paper in it, like full-size paper, Ezra? Because for some reason I was thinking that it did. All right, so now I got a whole bunch of these little things. I might be able to, let's see. I guess I'm just doing ripped pockets today. Okay. Okay. So there is one that has full-size paper. There's one that just has the folio kit, and one that has a whole bunch of extra ephemera, and I think that's the one that's 98 cents. All right. Do I have the full collection, or are they all separate? Was there a collection in there, Ezra? Or are you just talking about all the different ones that we have? Just all the different ones, yeah. I thought that's how it was. For some reason, I actually thought that I had created a collection last year. I mean, I created it, I just never put them all like as a, you know, as one full collection, the way I have the watercolor C and others. Okay, I need a drink. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put this one here and let it be a tuck. I think it has to be this side. The bottom. Here. And I think I'm also going to go So just so you guys know, I believe there is a sale in the Etsy shop that when you buy 2 things, you'll get 25% off, and that's an Etsy sale I'm participating in. But I also have the coupon code, which is good for Hallow Kitties, Autumn Enchantment, or Sapphire and Morning Glories. And that is, you can just buy one thing if you want to and use that. I don't think that Etsy will allow you to use both at the same time, but I'm really not quite sure about that. But if it doesn't, you could just make 2 orders. And I'd love to see what you do with them, because it's just so fun to see other people's ideas. I think that's why I like DJ's stream so much. All right, so I'm going to let this go, just overlap, and just be kind of an extra little fun thing. This is a tuck, so I'm going to tuck some small things in here. And then I'm going to look for something to make here, or to put there. See if I have one. That's that same kitty. Maybe I want this one. So this was a fun lesson in just using, you know, pieces of paper just to make your pockets, like ripping up pieces of paper. Not that unusual, but it is fun to do every once in a while. Just, you know, using my brain to create something that I like. All right, so I kind of think that I want to glue this on here. This first, though. I'm just going to ink this one all over and then come back over and ink the edges with black. If you like what we do here, please like this video and subscribe to our channel so that you get notifications every time we go live. You'll have to set your notifications to all, I believe. And I think even then you probably won't get all notifications, because that's just not how things work anymore. I don't know why. We also have anybody who doesn't really want to rely on those. We also have a calendar, like a Google Calendar link that I put in my newsletter every week, and there's an iCal version as well that you can use, and then you can get notifications from your Google Calendar about when we're on. So there's a lot of choices. Also, if you want, I have a free guide, and it's using Cricut in your junk journaling, because a lot of people have Cricut, you know, they came from scrapbooking, or, you know, they're branching a little bit off, and so I made that and some SVG files that are free If you go over to junkjournalboss.com and click on free gift in the menu, you can grab that. And then you will also get notifications on Monday when I send out my Monday blast, telling you what's all going on. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can get the information that you need. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this guy here. I mean, even without all the extra or all the stuff inside of the kit, I was able to make this work, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to cut out a few extra things to put in the pockets. Thanks, Jaretta. It's really fun. I think probably this week or next week I'm going to be releasing an October spread, which was from Patreon last year. So you guys that already have it, that are in the Patreon group, you guys will already have that particular set, or at least have access to it. You have several black cats? I like black cats. We have several tabby type cats. I'm not sure why it worked out that way, but we sort of rescue them, you know. And then we keep them, usually keep them as indoor kitties. It's not always a great idea, but what you gonna do? They like us. You can create this kit without all of the sooty background if you don't like that. I can see why some people might not like it very much, but yeah, you can make it without that. You can make it look a little more pristine than I did. So I haven't figured out a way to do this, but these ones that like are like tickets, you know, it's almost like you have to use a hole punch just to make them come out like that. And the reality is I really don't mind that. I really don't mind cutting them off, but today I kind of feel like I'll go ahead and just do it. Why not? Thanks, Amy. Uh-oh. What's happening? That was weird. I don't know how people live without a crocodile. I got one in my life has never been the same. So you can see how I was able to just cut those little holes there, but don't think I'm gonna, well, I don't know. Maybe I just don't say, because I don't know what I'm gonna do. The crocodile, you can get it pretty much anywhere. I got it off Amazon. They're about $30-something. So I don't usually pay $30-something for a tool like this. You know what I do, how I get a lot of the stuff that I have, is I use a credit card for everything so that I get points. And so I get a lot of my stuff free with points on my credit card. So there's my little secret. All right, so this is the part I wasn't sure I was going to do, but I think I will, just for fun. You do not have to do this, but I just never have done it before. You can get one of these at Hobby Lobby if you want. I don't know what happened over there, but they used to have like they used to actually have sales. So when you're walking down the aisles, do you guys remember this? When you're walking down the aisles, it's like you know, you can't miss the signs for things that are on sale. But last time I went, which it was a long time since I had been there, but there was no sales. So I'm not sure what's going on over there. There was still a clearance section, which I like. Okay. This is the part I said I wasn't really going to do, but I did it. And so here's what it looks like. So it just depends, Holly. I mean, if you want to be able to put more, like if you want to punch holes longer than what this, like an inch in or a couple centimeters in, I would get the big one, but it is big and bulky. If you guys want to see it, I can show it to you. But it is big and it is bulky, and I like the hand one because it's just easy to, it's just easier to deal with, you know. And most of the time it does what I need it to do. So if you had to choose one, Holly, I'd go ahead and I'd actually get this one. It's very easy to use. It's really heavy. And it's a really cool tool. I might have one inside of my my idea lists. Do you guys want me to find that on Amazon? If you do, just speak up and I'll do that real quick. It is handy to have both because you never really kind of have to worry about, you know, where you're putting your eyelets or anything like that, you know. The only thing about it is that it kind of feels like it only has like one purpose, you know, which is to set eyelets. But it's the best hole punch that I've ever had. It goes through like lots of layers of paper, like butter. Super cool. Okay, let's cut out a few of these. So if you want to get the Hallow Kitties, you can just buy the one thing, you know. It'll have enough in there for you to work with. So don't think that you have to buy like every file in there. How do you find it to be really handy, Joretta? Because I mean, I make junk journals a lot and only rarely need the biggest one. So I'm interested to hear what you do with it because, you know, ideas. I love ideas. Oh, do the other side. I think that the small one is amazing just for hole punching. You know, if you like to hole punch through a lot of layers or something, I think it's pretty great. Okay, let's see. I can put you here. And where'd that other one just go? Oh. So Friday I'm going to big one for the holes in the spine and the smaller one to use like you were using, handy size. Yeah, honestly I do really like them both just because I always want options for how to do things, and the more options I have, the better off, the better journals I make, you know, whatever. So I don't want to do that. I want the kitty to peek out right there. All right. I'll show you guys what that looks like real quick if I can find it. Yes, it's actually just right here. So it looks like this. It's a monster. What are these? You can take these off? I didn't know that. So it looks like it's going to be able to set like different things, but I've only ever used it for eyelets. It's got a ruler here, which is cool. And it's got, let's see, I don't know what this is for. What is that for? Oh, okay, so you can do 1/8 inch holes, and you can do 3/16 inch holes, or when you want to set an eyelet or something, then you're gonna click it over to here. So that's cool. And it feels really heavy, like a swing line stapler. Yeah, it's enormous. It's enormous. So if I were to say, you know, this does exactly the same thing as this one does, but it's a lot more expensive. But here's what you get. You can actually move, I think this might be movable, but I don't see. Anyway, it looks like you can move this to whatever size page you have. Let me see. I've never done it, so I'm not sure. Maybe Joretta can tell us how to do that. But so there is all kinds of rulers on here. And so if you're doing like a 1/8 inch hole, there's a ruler for that. If you're setting eyelets and other things, whatever those other things are, the middle ruler goes with that. And 3/16 hole, there's a ruler here for that too. So anyhow, now I want to figure out how to move this thing. But anyways, that's the deal with that. I'm fairly sure that I have it in one of my idea lists at Amazon.com/Kristi Stone. No, shop/Kristi Stone. I think that's the address. So anyways, let's see how this closes just with what I've got. Just for fun. Just for fun. Scoot that over a little so it doesn't get stuck. All right. So I'm going to need a closure. So here's, you know what? I can just use the crocodile for that. The big one. And I'll show you why it's a good thing to have. This is a hard thing to do when you want to go like way inside here. And what I want is a 3/16 hole. I really wish I could get that to move over, but I don't think it's going to matter much. Okay, so now I've got that hole in there and it was super easy to do. Now I want to put an eyelet in. So I put it a little bit too far over, so pretend I didn't do that. And so I'll go ahead and do, what does that outside look like? It's orange, so it needs to contrast that. Maybe I'll just use a metal one. Why not? So I want it to be on the outside here. I hope that doesn't mess up my whole thing that I did that way. I think I'll just make sure it sets more toward the middle. So now I'm gonna scooch it over this way and set my eyelet. Okay, so I'm probably going to remake this part, but I just want to show you. It should slide, huh? I just never have slid that, which is weird. So now what I want to do is I want to create a closure, super easy closure. And I don't know if I remember how to do this, but I'm going to try. I don't want a lot of bulk on the outside here. So, and I don't want anything really big there, but I do need something that won't go through that eyelet. So I'm trying to find an appropriate button. Maybe this one would be good. So I am going to do a fresh cut and hopefully be able to string this through. And actually I think this needs to go on the inside here. That didn't press down very much. Oh well, I'll fix it later. Put this through the back. I used to do these a lot, but I just haven't lately. So we want to create the least amount of bulk as possible. That looks cute, right? Oh, actually it doesn't really matter because, yeah. So then when we close it, we've got, hang on, I do think this kind of gets in the way of that. All right, so now we're going to just go ahead and tie this, not super tight, but you will want to tie it. So this is a really simple way to do this. Elastic has been my friend for a while now because, you know, this elastic thread, because it just makes it so much easier to let's see, there we go. I'll cut this a little bit off. So now when you want to open it, just pull that over that, open it up. This is going to probably move around a little bit because it's not, you know, it's not necessarily stationary unless it's pulled tight. So then, because I have that button, I'm gonna have to play around with it a little bit, but there's the closure. So if I find my black, I'll probably redo that. But that's pretty much all I've got for you guys today. Friday, I'm gonna break out the ribbons and fun things, and hopefully put things into the folio that aren't going to make it not be able to close. But the good news is that if you're not using a magnet closure, you know, you're using this, then it should be fine, you know, even if it's a little more bulky. So anyways, again, I want to thank my dragonflies especially for all of your support. I am super stoked to have it, and you guys and the other tiers make it possible for us to do the things that we love to do. And thank you so much. And also, thank you, Doretta, for being here, Amy, Christine, Holly, and the rest of you guys. I am going to sign off for now, and I'll see you Friday, same channel, 5 p.m. Pacific to 7 p.m. Bye.